Nope, try again. There you were. What's going on? What's going on? All right, you know what time it is. You know what rhyme it is. I'm your gracious host, A6. We are live and direct, live in effect. How's everybody's weekend? What's going on, Joel? What's up with you? What's good? What's good? What's good? Thirst for truth. How you feeling? What up, Joel? What up? What up again? What's up, Alex? What's going on, man? A lot of people up in here right now liking the music. Thank you, man. Thank you. That music is actually from a lot of people don't know what that is. That's the Four Horsemen thing. Back in the day. So yes, sir. What up, Zakiba? What's going on? Yes, sir, my man with the guitarist. Yeah. What up, Tony? Good to see you in here early. My man said just bought 2119, 21 $1 silver coins to create my silver bond. Yes, sir. That's the way to do it, man. Get that gold and silver up, fellas. And ladies alike. We are the living awake live on so many levels, cuz you know it. You know it. I was just watching a seminar on the quantum theories. It looks like the topic of this video fits what I was just watching. Possibly. Very much possibly. All about the San Fran Mint and 21 Morgans. That's facts too. What's good with you, Lost Rose? Good to see you guys in here. All right, yeah. So you know how I do. I laid low pretty much this weekend. You know, did a little bit of reading. Um, got to talk to a few people, man. I had a long conversation with a few people over the past week. And man, I tell you, it's got to be something about like the atmosphere in today's climate. People are thinking, man. People are constantly waking up. And these are people that are still on their same dietary regimen of what they've been on forever. Like I know dudes that are thinking that are firing almost on all cylinders that are still eating the same stuff and doing the same activities they were doing. So like whatever's happening with the awakening, it can't be delayed, man. It can't be stopped. It almost feels like it's inevitable. No matter what you say or do, it's coming for you. So that's a blessing, I believe. Definitely, that is a positive thing. Everybody, please, I appreciate if you do hit the like button. And also, if you're just watching and you haven't, if you're watching the recorded version, if you're watching live and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please do that so we can make sure we keep the numbers growing, grow the community. All right, let's get into one of these codes I want you guys to take a look at. Now, a lot of you guys ask me information via email about how you guys are trying to discharge debt, or you might have something on the credit score or credit report rather that might be derogatory. But I got something, a little bit of information you might want to take a look at that may help you out with that. So check this out right here. This is 15 United States Code 168 1B, permissible purposes of consumer reports. All right. It says we're gonna just read a few of them just so you can get it. I want you guys to read this yourself because it's a key piece of information in here that's gonna help you with those dispute letters. All right, so check it out. So it says A, subject to subsection C, any consumer reporting agency may furnish a customer report under the following circumstances and no other. So it says one, in response to the order of a court having jurisdiction to the issue, such an order, a subpoena issued in connection with the proceedings before federal grand jury, or subpoena issued in accordance with section 5318 of title 31 or section 3486 of title 18. Then it says number two, in accordance with the written instructions of the consumer whom it relates. Let's read that again. In accordance with the written instructions of the consumer whom it relates. Now, that number two alone should have you guys really seeing what's really going on. Because the last time I checked, I don't think anybody asked to have any derogatory blemishes on their credit, pretty much. So he goes down to three. To a person which it has reason to believe intends to use the information in connection with a credit transaction involving the consumer on whom the information is to be furnished and involving the extension of credit to review or collection of account or the consumer. So you guys can read B, C, and D, E, F, and then the rest of them. But this is a great place for you guys to start. So if you guys are doing your dispute letters, you know, these dispute letters are very powerful, man. You get them, these affidavits done, like, or you get them notarized with the notary jurat certificate at the bottom. I'm telling you something, all right? These are very powerful instruments, and I have used these before. These third-party creditors are leeches, and what they basically do is they basically buy your information, which is already illegal as hell. but they're actually not even your information technically. They buy the ins legis information, and then so like let's say the debt's 1,000. We talked about this a while ago. Let's say the debt was $1,000 or whatever. They'll buy the debt for like what 500 or 600 or something like that, and then they'll come after you for the full 1,000. So if they can't get the full 1,000, it's a write off anyway. So what these companies do is that you don't even have a contract with these third party creditors. You don't have a contract with them at all. So they'll try to trick you into giving them the original debt and settling the original debt. In which case, if you are foolish enough to go ahead and do that, they'll go ahead and close that account, and then they'll make a report to the other company that that account is closed or such. And the other company already got their funds from the Federal Reserve or the IRS or whatever you want to call it in the form of tax write-offs. They write it off as bad debt. These S corporations and LLCs, they use what's called the bad debt write-off. So any expenses and things of that nature, whatever bad debts they had, they tally up at the end of the year. However often they do it, they accumulate all those numbers and they put them in one giant number. And it's probably in the millions, honestly, because a lot of these companies, they do so much business, it ends up being in the millions of bad debt from people who ain't giving them squat. So they're gonna get their write off anyway. So they'll get the technically the quote unquote money back anyway. And then the company that actually buys it, they're trying to get anything they can get out of you because any bit of money they can get. If you let's say you owe like 1,000, right? But you settle out for $200. Well, guess what? That's 200, and then they can go sell your information to somebody else. Now they might not be able to sell it to another creditor, but they can sell your information to a lot of different outlets and things like this. You always want people always wonder how they get junk mail so much and how their email gets filled with crap. Like you'll create a brand new email, and in 1 year your email is full of junk mail. Like, yo, nobody else has my email but like 5 different companies. Yeah, well, that's because them 5 companies sold your information. So yeah, they're making money on money on money on money or whatever you want to call it, uh, on top of what they originally had for a contract. So yes, sir, that is a dirty game. But yeah, please look into that code if you guys are planning to do dispute letters. And anybody who's new to this information, they're probably already studying discharge and debt and things like that. You know, these techniques can be applied and they can work. You just have to know how to go about it and be prepared to enforce it because these people ain't trying to have you run off the slave plantation. Facts. Alex says the CERN machine is going crazy. Tap into the Sophago frequencies to elevate your energy. Agreed. Dan says just watch the secret, the law of attraction breakdown. Yes, indeed. I haven't checked that out yet. What's going on, Walter? How you feeling, man? It's all bank and mail fraud plus identity theft. Exactly. Everyone should report to the beat me to it. 100%. That is exactly what it is. It's identity theft. They're taking your information and they're basically slinging it all over the place. You know what I mean? People wonder why they get junk mail, they're getting spam calls and stuff like that. Your information's everywhere. You know, you give any info to these people. That's why it's wise. A lot of people say it's wise not to have anything in your ins legis name. It's best to create your own. So a lot of people like to create a trust. Some people to create an LLC. There's different ways to do it, but the general rule of thumb is having things in your ins legis name is not really a good idea. I send cease and desist letter. Yes, it does. The cease and desist does work. Yes, indeed. I'm fighting a court case right now. Word. Okay. 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 You got any questions? Hit me up privately, man. Cheat codes for manifestation. Grab void codes. Everybody's manifest destiny. Law of attraction. That's it. About to bread these creditors. Let's go. Let's go. Yes, sir. So that is a key piece of information. All right. I got one more video to show you. I don't have many videos to show you guys. Just this believe it or not, I didn't run across any craziness for the most part this week. But I do want to show you guys this. Now, Eddie Bravo has been known to have a very um, interesting choice of words, shall I say, or colorful language, if you want to call it that, for the most part. So he's going to be using foul language, but there's nothing you guys haven't heard before. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let you hear what he has to say.
Just got busted for spending $500 million to some British filmmaking crew or production company
James
to
Bond.
make fake Al Qaeda Taliban videos. You
The
can't
families.
believe shit about the Middle East. They faked $500 million worth of videos. Anybody that say, you know what, they faked $500 million worth, but anything they're showing now, it's
What about,
real.
like,
They did it so easily to honey dick the masses. That's the fucking problem. The people that are gullible and they just buy all this shit. That's the problem. But it's reality. The Pentagon just got busted spending $500 million on fake Taliban Al Qaeda videos. What the fuck does that mean to you? You gonna ignore that shit?
And my man has the frustration. we all. My man has a frustration we all have trying to explain this shit to regular people or robots or agents, whatever the hell they are. My man has the frustration of trying to explain that to regular people. I can just hear it in his voice because I was there before. Like it is mind blowing how much of this stuff people are willing to just accept as truth. And when something comes out to show what they will previously believed was not true, they'll just reject it to keep believing what they believed in the first place. So I can hear it in his voice because that's we've all been there. But this information he just dropped is crazy because I remember back when I was younger, man, when this stuff happened, and all these videos were coming out of these reporters getting their heads sawed off. I can't remember what the one guy's name was, but it was this reporter. He looked like he might have been a 6 foot tall, shortcut white guy, and they said he was a reporter that went missing in the Middle East, and then he appeared on one of the videos begging the United States for some to demand, or what is it? It was demands from the Taliban or something like that. And then in another video, they had him read something off a paper or something, and then they sawed his head off. I was like, holy shit! And this was around 2003, 4, man. And this stuff was circulating the internet like wildfire, and it was like, yo, this is crazy. But then when you go back and just start to look at everything that was happening, the shit don't seem right, man. A lot of that shit was fake. That's crazy to me, bro. Like, what the fuck, man? That is absurd. But yeah, there's a whole lot of that stuff floating around on the internet, man, from back in the day that has came out to be debunked, but people just won't buy it. People they keep buying the narrative of everything they see is factual. That is definitely an issue, man. But you can't. Everybody can't be weak. Everybody can't be weak. That's just the reality of the situation. So, it's good to have, again, find your circle you can talk about this stuff with. And that way, when anything happens, man, y'all can talk to each other to keep each other sane, man. Because I tell you what, you just be one guy out here just amongst the masses that actually reads and learns, man. You feel like you're in no man's land, But again, we talk about this every week. This is why we on this channel. Yes, sir. Yes, I did watch that movie. I did that movie. Let me tell you something. That's another movie. I wonder how did this movie get made? How was this movie created? They actually put this movie out knowing goddamn well this is exactly what they do, and they put it out anyway. That's absurd. That and They Live are two movies I will never understand how they got released. You can call it predictive programming, but sometimes, you scrape a little too close to the surface, footage might go missing if you don't. Alex says the creditors are really recipient creditors, aka banks. You were the original creditor as the applicant. The Federal Reserve is a secured creditor. I agree with all that. Cash said, "What up, Cash? Hey, bro, did the DMV or DOT try to hinder you from canceling and deleting your account? I'm asking because they sent me a response letter I posted on Telegram. Let me tell you something. Them boys over there at the DMV are on some bullshit. They ain't trying to remove it. But what you got to do is you got to hit them the right way with the right letter of your you know fee schedule for real for them not complying with an order. Because basically the contract was pretty much, it wasn't a clear put contract. There wasn't every specific thing that you were signing on was not mentioned in that contract. So therefore, that contract is like fraudulent, pretty much. So if you send them that the fee schedule, like right now, I'm just racking up the fees right now, man. That's all I'm doing. Trying wait till that bad boy get in the triple digits. So I said triple digits. Excuse me. What is the word for that? Man, wait till he get the six digits. I don't know the word for it. wait wait for it to get in the six digits. We'll put it that way, and then we take a step forward. But I already put them on notice, so that's I suggest you do the same. God bless Eddie Bravo. Hopefully, it's true 100%. Yeah, Eddie Bravo was a advocate, uh, friend of Joe Rogan. He's also a jujitsu player. That's how I first heard about him. But he started to come up with all those that information that people call conspiracy theories, and I thought it was interesting. So I started checking them out. Every episode he was on with Joe Rogan, and some of the stuff dude says is dead on. He talks about flat Earth. He talks about you know, the way the government works. All kinds of shit, man. And a lot of that stuff. It's very interesting to hear his opinion because some of that stuff is just like, yo, that's crazy. Thirst for Truth said, hopefully Eddie B is 100% on our side. Yeah, how about that? You just never know, man. As Bobby Herman says, this is a lonely road. Yep. Oh, man, what's up, yo? HJR 192 Public Law 7310. Yes, indeed. Listen, if y'all don't know who this is, right? This is my man on Instagram who exercises his right to travel all the time. Um, his Instagram name is basically that name right there with underscores in between us. So please go follow him on Instagram because this man exercises his right to travel. He doesn't have any passport or anything. He just goes hard. Like my man is a true patriot. So please, everybody, welcome my man, the gift of eternal life, Thomas. Please welcome on to the channel. He's a part of the family now. Thank you for joining in, man. I want to have you call in later, man. So I'm gonna drop the link in about like probably like 30 minutes. So stick around, man. I'd be glad to have you on here. We definitely like the truthers moving over on this side. But yeah, he's talking about HJR 192 Public Law 7310 for discharging debt. But he's 100% right. So when it comes to debt and things of that nature, yes, you do have the right to discharge debt. They'll try to tell you otherwise, but we know that to be fact. Thank you for tuning in, man. Their response was to my notice. Word. I'll follow them. Yes, go check him out. What's up, Nicole? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, they'll try to tell you. They're gonna try to tell you. Like I seen somebody just sent me a letter yesterday that they got from the DMV, and it was like, yo, we the law is the law. You are not allowed to drive without a driver's license. This, that, and the third, which is 100% facts. They'll never tell you that you don't have the right to travel. They'll never tell you that because they know you have the right to travel. What they'll say is they will uphold statutes, codes, and regulations, which is you don't have the privilege to drive back and forth without a license, which is 1,000% facts. You cannot drive without a license. That is not what you're supposed to be doing. If you are driving, you must have a license. That is facts. You're operating in commerce, you better have a license. That is 100% facts. We know this. The right to travel is a completely different ball game, and they try to smear it together like it's the same thing. No, it isn't. The Supreme Court has ruled on this multiple times, and we've read the case law before. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So look, all right, guys. So let's start talking about the law of attraction, man. So here's what I'm a firm believer of. This backs up what we thought before about the whole entire theory that or actually it's been proven to be fact as per Japan's research with the ice cubes that they use and they froze. Water stores memory. Okay, if water stores memory, your body is 85 to 80 to 85% water, I believe. So how about this? Um, the law of attraction. Your body stores memory. So whatever you think or believe or constantly address, you put out into the atmosphere as energy. Whatever you constantly think about and set your mind to, you will attract eventually. So that's why when people, if you ever heard of people who are always really, really negative, and they always think the worst about everything. They always, they think the worst about worse than everybody's an asshole, such and such and such. I was talking with my man the other day, and right now I'm in the process of spinning his mind process, and he's open minded too, which is great. I think you have to be ready for a change. You know what I mean? So maybe the law of attraction of him believing that he could think differently actually brought the conversation between the two of us about. So I met him recently. So we had this long conversation and we're talking about, finding your balance and stuff like that. And it turns out the quest that he's on is the same quest that all of us are on. Now he's not a national by any uh word mention of the word. He's basically pretty much just a man who's just thinking everything over. So when you start to really think like this and you start questioning things, you start to attract that energy of those people who are on the same path. This all ties into finding your tribe, the law of attraction. The when you start to gear your mind towards something, that's what you start to see. If you plan on gearing your mind towards success, what you have to do is you have to imagine the future where you're already successful. So let's say for instance, all right. So let's say for instance, you've been setting your goal on saving up to get a car, right, or automobile, whatever you want to call it. So every week you're putting away this amount of money, such and such and such. You're not sure which one you're gonna get yet, or if you do know which one you're gonna get, you're thinking it in your head every day. Every day you go in, you putting in hours on the clock, or you hitting whatever you gotta hit to get that monetary goal, so you can actually put that towards whatever your goal is. In this case, an automobile. Every day you're visualizing that particular thing. You're visualizing. You can see it. You can feel yourself in the car behind the wheel. You can feel yourself washing it. You can just almost smell the new car scent, right? And you think 1.5 years from now, I'm gonna be in this new whip cruising to work. And you just keep thinking that every day. And slowly you'll start to build towards it. You might not be in a situation where it's just you. If it's a situation theoretically where it's just you saving this amount per week, it's not going to be enough for it. But you might run into a situation where you might run into somebody who does credit repair. You might run into somebody who knows somebody who's selling one for a good price, and or you might even randomly come across somebody just trying to get rid of one. Just get rid of a car. But when you start to really think about things like that, you have to really put it in your mind. Also, it never hurts to talk. Say it out loud. Say what you actually want. And don't say you want it. Say it's going to happen. I'm going to get this. If you ever think about it, just say it out loud to yourself. I'm going to get this. Like, I'm going to get a new car by next year. I'm going to get a new car by next year. I'm about to get a new car anyway. But, just saying that to yourself constantly and work towards the goal. In about a year or so, you're going to have it. I'm telling you, I've done it time and time again, dude. It's facts. And it's crazy how it works because when you actually realize how powerful the mind is, man, the mind is powerful. It's so powerful it can control the energy around you. And that energy can affect other people to help you in your goal, or you might be able to help them. But whatever you put out into the atmosphere, it comes back to you, man. So when you really think about things like this, you can't never think that you're out and down or you just beat. You have to remember that you have control of your destiny. You can't just accept things the way they are, if they're at a negative point where you are at. You don't think you're stuck there. You can always get out, but you got to change the mindset first. The mindset is key, man. I was talking to the guy about the right to travel, and I was like, "Yo, mindset is everything, man." Because when you first get them private tags and you first get your passport, you know what I mean. You always nervous, you always worried about getting pulled over and stuff like that. You always worried about getting harassed and all that, yo. But when you really start to like get comfortable with it and know your laws and things like that, and realize, man, it is what it is. I'm gonna go out here and do the damn thing. You start to worry less about it, and you run into less problems, man. I'm telling you. You're calm, you're collected. When something happens, you're able to respond properly. These are all vibrations that are put out into the atmosphere. And we talked about the life grid before, how Earth has a life grid that all the animals are connected to, man. We're connected to a life grid too. They'll lead you to believe otherwise. So we are 100. That's why they want everybody to have that Neuralink chip, because when you get that Neuralink chip, they can affect the way you think. But the way you think, you can control. And we're all in a life grid. When you start to think more in terms of being connected with your own self and being connected with the nature of spirits around you, and you're in touch with yourself, and you can actually have those thoughts and control your destiny pretty much. You start to put that energy out there, it'll definitely come to you, man. That's facts. My man Proof says we are all been rational beings in the same manner that once two tuning forks are calibrated to each other, when one is struck, the other will resonate regardless of the distance that they are separated. Your vibration attracts the light. Yes, sir. Agreed. 100% agreed. In addition to your affirmations, don't tell others your target until you hit it. You don't know who is wishing against you. That's another thing. That's a great point too. So yeah, don't if you have a goal, just say it to yourself. You know what I mean? You don't have to when you say it out loud, you don't have to say it to anybody else. Just putting it out there in the atmosphere for the universe or whatever you believe in to hear it, it'll start to work in your favor. But just make sure when you're on the way to do so, make sure you walk that path of righteousness. Make sure you help people whenever you can. Don't be like a selfish guy and stuff like that. You're only human. Sometimes you might just be too tired or whatever. But try to do whatever you can within your power to help people. If ever somebody needs a shoulder to lean on, try to be that person. Just do things like that, man. But walk that path of righteousness. Eat clean, take care of your body, work yourself out a little bit, get your heart rate up, sweat out the toxins, you know what I mean? Do things like this because these things are going to be the things that really helps you along your path. When you walk that path of straight and narrow and you start to really put out in the air what you want and you're not disturbing the universe in any negative way, the universe is going to help you even more because you're walking that path. You guys, I'm telling you, check into those tablets, man. Check into those tablets. I was talking to my man Meech about this, bro. Those tablets are no joke. The stuff he talks about in those tablets are a great point of living. Like you can follow these tablets to the T. And he basically said in those tablets, the emerald tablets, he was saying that if you follow those per instruction, you'll never run into an accidental death or accidental injury. Like you'll never have to deal with any of that if you follow these steps. And this dude was an Atlantean who lived thousands of years through reincarnation of transferring his consciousness to the next body. So when he was able to do that, he was able to go back to his notes and add things to his notes, which is crazy because it's like, this spirit has been transferred to all these different bodies, but they always go right back to where they need to go to take more notes. And when these emerald tablets were created, they're indestructible. So they're all over the internet, man. You can get right on eBay and listen to the audio version if you don't have time to read them all. But I'm about 3/4 of the way through, and I tell you what, man, it's a beautiful thing, man. It is a beautiful thing. And it's the same way magic and stuff like that works too. You know what I mean? It's putting that pretty much out in the atmosphere. Magic might use different components, but I believe it's the same principle. But yeah, don't be telling people stuff that's there's a lot of haters around you, man. And if you haven't cleaned your circle, there could be a lot of haters around you. You might hear somebody in the other room who you don't know they can hear you talking, but they like, man, he ain't getting no new car. Fuck that guy, man. Man, I hope he don't get no new car, and I hope he go broke. You know what I mean? And he put that out in the atmosphere. No, he might deal with karma later for throwing that out on you, but in the meantime, you got this bullshit to deal with. My daughter bought the car she visualized the car she bought a year later is true. And the Citroen A6 mentioned she found $20 recently and got reimbursed from a transit. Yeah, my man said he actually hit me in the email about this. So that citrine crystal I was telling y'all to get, grab that citrine. Make sure y'all clean your crystals too. Don't be out here just wearing crystals and not cleaning them. Don't be that guy, all right? Find out how the crystal needs to be cleaned and clean that bad boy and use it. But that citrine crystal, when you actually get that bad boy, man, when I had my citrine crystal, actually I have another one on now, but I had stopped wearing it for like 2 weeks. But yo, when I first got it, I was finding money all over the place. Like it was crazy. Like I would find $10 here on the ground, $5 here. Somebody would send me a cash app for donation and stuff like that. Which, by the way, if you want to donate, please do. But people would donate and stuff like that. It was awesome. But yo, you wear these crystals and they have abilities. You have to be aware of what they can do. But yeah, my man said she found $20 and she just got reimbursed from a transaction she did. Fire. You know what I mean? What up, James? Salute you guys. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I wish Bob Proctor would have lived longer. He is in The Secret. Yeah, I remember that book. The Secret. He said that he focuses on the feeling great to live longer, even though he was old. Well, feeling great to live longer. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Move in silence and let them know when you get there. Listen. Let me tell you something. When I was younger, that was my thing. See, back in the day, we would mess with the race cars and stuff, or we would put parts in the race cars. Now it's different because people put their under their engine bays all over the internet, and it's not a secret anymore what you got on your car. But back then, bro, we wasn't showing nobody what we had under our hood. So I just show up with like 500 horsepower. I wouldn't tell nobody what I had done. You know what I mean? But it's the same principle. You move in silence, and then when you get to where you going, somebody asks how you did it. Put them on point. Put them on game. Get out there and help somebody, man. Help a soul move forward, man. Pull each other up. If you up and you can help the next man, pull him up too, man. That's called the betterment of mankind. That's why we're here. We are the enlightened. Never shoot down your dreams once with the current reality. Yep. Right. Like, don't say, I want that car, but I hate insurance because you just tossed your good vibration into conflict. That is true. I agree. Once you set a goal, follow through with it. So even if you don't like the insurance, get the car in front of you. Like, yeah, I got the car. And if you decide to change your mind, like, I got the car, I accomplished my goal. I'm a badass because I can do it. I don't like the insurance, so I'm gonna sell it. For maybe more than I bought it for. But I got it because once you actually get it in your possession or what have you, you know what I mean? You're gonna feel like substantially stronger. Your mental is gonna feel substantially stronger because you're gonna feel like you was able to pull that off. Everything is a hologram projection of your energy. Facts. Mirror work. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Other vessels seem to alter by casting spells since the collective consciousness. Bang. Agreed. Listen, it is imperative that control your energy. Make sure you control your mind, and be careful what you think about too. Don't think about negative things. You know what I mean? And when I say negative things, don't think about yourself getting hurt or nothing like that. Always be the guy that thinks 10 steps ahead, so you don't have to deal with stuff like that. Like me, I'm always pre-calculating. Different outcomes of things. I got like the way my brain works. It'll be like a stem and branch of different possibilities, you know what I mean, when I with the action that I engage in. So I always think real tactical, and I always try to think like a strategical, if you would. So I'm very rarely surprised by outcomes. You know what I mean? Any outcome that happens, I pretty much pre-anticipate it. But you have to be like that. You don't feel like you don't deserve the blessing, because you definitely do. If you've been out there, doing what you do and taking care of yourself and trying to keep positive thoughts and speaking good truth to other people, man, you will be blessed. Yes, indeed. You will definitely be blessed. That's one thing I learned, man. You know, you try to walk the path of righteousness and do good as much as you can. Take responsibility for your actions. If that's something that you might have a weakness with, you might have a weakness with even apologizing. I got into a heated debate with one of the guys I'm constantly working with, and it ended up being a situation where I was like, you know what? I apologize, man, because I don't know. I have a tendency sometimes, like, to just say stuff. Like, if I get like frustrated or something, I'll just say something. I might think like, I probably shouldn't have said that. It just flew out. You know what I mean? And I'm not perfect. Nobody is. But on the same token, it's like, you got to be careful of what you say. So I was like, you know what, man? I apologize for that, man. I'm sorry. I had no right to say it. I shouldn't even have said that, bro. But once you actually get used to apologizing, it's not hard to. It's surprisingly hard for some people to apologize. That's the craziest. To me, that's easy. Like, if I was wrong, I was wrong, and I'm gonna tell you I was wrong. You know what I mean? Facts. But some people can't. They can't apologize. They'll literally have a problem saying, "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that." And then they want to make excuses. They'll be like, "Well, I said it because you said this, that, and the third. If you wouldn't have did this, I wouldn't have said that. That's your problem now. You always doing stuff to make people say stuff like that." And they'll rock like that and never apologize, man. Some parents are like that, which is terrible. You raise children like that, man. That's not good at all. But that's how some people roll. Some people just can't apologize. But listen, try to, if that is an issue you have, make sure you straighten that out, man. Don't cause turmoil within yourself. If you got that problem, sort that out. Make an active action to take care of that. Facts. There's a lady named Abraham Hicks. She speaks to Americans about vibration and attraction very well. Abraham Hicks, huh? Okay. Had to check that out. I decided to buy a new turntable and I bought one. Positive thinking. Boom. Yeah. So you probably decided well in advance. So let me go ahead and grab a turntable. Let me grab something that's easier to put my records over here, or might be easier to use or such. And then you put that in motion. I'm gonna go as far as to say that's why a lot of us are here talking right now, because you were probably looking for somebody to talk about some of this stuff, and then you stumbled across this channel, and now what do you know? It's your new home. But yeah, man, the people in my tribe, man, we out here to make the world a better place. We out here to help people to make the world a better place. Leave the world in a better place than you found it. That's what I live by. What you live by? What y'all live by, man? What's your motto to living? You should have a motto to living. Your whole life should be summed up by a motto. And mine's is leave the world in a better place than you found it. That's my motto. Have a motto that you live by and stick to it, man. Once you do that, everything else will fall into place. That's part of finding balance. Once you do that, everything else. Some people's motto is get the cash. I know people like this. I know some people's motto is get the cash, and they get the cash. Facts, because that's what they live by. They live by get the cash, regardless of how they do it. And as a result, they get the cash, but they got all the shit that comes with it too. If they're getting it at other people's expense, or in a negative light or such. You never want to do that. But yeah, some people just literally get the cash. Some people here to fuck shit up. That's facts too. some people, some some people ready to tear stuff up, man. But that's what it is, man. Like, hey, different. We all chose to come here, man. We all chose to come down here. And when we got here, we got to find out what our purpose is. And when you find out what your purpose is, stand by that, man. Stand by that. Yes, leave the world a better place. Yep. Love thy neighbor as thyself. There you go. That's a great one right there. That is a great one. I got your email, man. I'll read it when I'm finished here. I did get your email. But yes, sir, have a motto, man, and find that balance. Find that happy balance. All right, we all caught up on the comments. I don't think I missed anything. Don't be scared to dream big. Yeah, this is interesting because some people are afraid to fail, and this is the reason people don't a lot of people don't set high goals because they're afraid to fail, and that is surprisingly a lot of people's problem. Some people don't like the thought of failure, but you gotta be willing to fall on your goddamn face in order to take that jump. Now you're not gonna take the jump if you afraid to fall on your damn face. But that's part of movement. We learned that when we learned to walk. When we learned to walk, we knew there was gonna be a risk of falling on our face and hitting our nose on the goddamn floor. And we've all fell and hit our nose on the floor when we first started walking. You know, we always running down the road, running down the street with our friends, and then missed that one step or that one piece of concrete was uneven, and we fell and scraped our hands and knees up all over the concrete. We all done that before, and that's a basic principle. But you get your ass back up and you keep doing it, and you get so much experience. You're not worried about it happening later. But yeah, people are afraid to dream big because a lot of people are afraid to fail, man, and that cripples a lot of people. But you can't be afraid to take a L, man. Sometimes you gotta be willing to take a L to take a W, and they be the sweetest W's you take. When you take a risk and take a fat W, they often are the biggest payouts. Just like investing in stocks or anything like that. You decide to go put $10,000 on some stock or something, and that motherfucker hit like AMC hit or like GameStop hit. Next thing you know, you on Maui, like, God damn it, I didn't goddamn put all that money on this bitch, and I'm out here in Maui Beach in a resort spending hella money with some Muay Thais and some badass chick next to me. Like, they be the biggest W's. You know what I mean? But that's what I say, man. I adapted my motto from Neely Fuller. Every day your purpose is to solve problems without creating any. That's a good one right there. That's a good one. I like that, man. With all due I like that name too, but all due respect, fuck out of here. Facts. Sometimes it be like that, man. Chris Freeman, yes, sir. Can you discuss what things, methods you use in discussing these topics with your daughter? Well, this kind of stuff, I usually talk when I talk to younger children or something like that. A lot of younger children aren't able to depending on what age we're talking, aren't able to grasp a lot of these things because these are deeper things. I'll tell you something, all right. If somebody would have tried to tell me all this when I was like 13 or 14 or something, it wouldn't have really sunk in like it should have. You know what I mean? And I swear when you turn 30, your pineal gland starts to open up a little bit. If it's calcified, it might open up like a tiny bit, but I swear there's something that's got something to do with that, man. Um, what I would suggest doing is spoon feeding children. I would suggest spoon feeding them. Give them little bits, let them digest a little. You don't want to pour too much onto them because then they just turn off completely. Just spoon feed a little bit here, 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 and here, and here, and here until you get a lot of it in, and you're able to uh you're able to have full conversations with them. That's what I would say with that. Because you talk to teenagers and such, and it's just not gonna sink all the way in. Because especially boys, man. I tell you, you talk to a boy about the law of attraction and stuff like that when he's 13, man. He got two modes: hungry and horny. That's what he got. He ain't trying to hear nothing else. Like, yo, if it ain't about video games, food, or women, he ain't trying to hear that shit. But that's an age thing, man. If I share knowledge with others to improve their lives, I'm alive. Word. The guy that lives next to me is a cop. I tried to tell him about the right to travel. He got his backup, said you're one of them sovereign citizens and ran in his house. What? Wait a minute. Hold on. What? The guy that lives next to me is a cop. I tried to tell him about the right to travel. He got his backup, said you're one of them sovereign citizens and ran in his house. So hold on. You mean to tell me this guy was outside and you told him about the right to travel and he ran in his house? Okay. Okay. Interesting. Good night, family. I'll listen to the rest tomorrow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, check it out tomorrow, Chris. Do your thing, man. Do your thing, Thirst. All right. No doubt, no doubt. 13 to 17 years old. Yeah, that's a hard one right there. Listen, man. The best thing you can do to relate to children that age is gonna be, you sometimes you just gotta wait for them to ask questions, man. It's just like with regular U.S. citizens, man. You gotta wait for them to ask questions, and then when they ask questions, you give them some, and you let them know what it is, and then you give them a little bit of information to study or look into, or just something quick to read because their attention span is like this. Since the Vine days, I swear them Vine and short videos and stuff like that, man. I swear people's attention span has severely reduced. Like when I have conversations with people, I'll be talking and they'll be trying to cut me off. And I'm like, this is a common theme with younger people now. It's like their attention span is almost gone. When we were younger, we would sit our ass down and watch the whole 2 hours of WWF, or we watched the whole half hour or 45 minutes of James Bond or whatever, or James Bond Jr. or whatever we used to watch back then. These kids, these TikTok videos was like what? How are they like a minute long, a minute and a half, or something like that? These short ass videos, their attention span just ain't that long, man. So you got to be concise with information. Like your best bet would be to tell them some shit, some shocking shit. You know what I mean? And then they be like, "What do you mean?" And then you explain it to them, because they're asking you, if that makes sense. So you tell them you don't need a license, and they be like, "What do you mean I don't need a license? You need a license to drive." You don't need a license. And they be like, what does that mean? Then you tell them, boom. And then you give them a little bit of whatever. Then if they ask again, then you give them a little bit of whatever. But you can't just be like, you don't need a license because it's such and such a year we about to travel, blah, blah, blah. Supreme Court case said, blah, blah, blah. You start to sound like Charlie Brown's parents at that time. Wah, 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 wah. So, spoon feed the information, man. For children, live clean, to be honest, and live true clean. Yes, indeed. Yep, has not talked to me in 3 years. Jeez. Damn, Will, you did him like that, man. So you talking about the right to travel? He might be an agent. He might be an agent, man. He might not even be an agent. He might even be a human. How about that? He might be on some they live shit. He might look like a man, but he might not be a man. He might be some other shit, man. Children do as they observe, like humans to TV. Night, sir. Yes, sir. I agree with that. But yeah, man, 100% facts though. My man said he hadn't talked to you in 3 years. That's disgusting though, man. You know, because if there was an issue and there was a grid outage and you had something his family needed, you know what I mean? You had some food, his family might need some food or something like that, or they might need something you had that you're willing to let him use. He got another mountain in the way. But that's that shit, man. That's what I don't like, bro, because these boundaries they put up so we can not talk to each other about stuff like this is 100% the problem. It's like they don't want us. They don't want white people talking to black people. They don't want cops talking to the people, and they don't want well, pretty much they don't want anything that can destroy their narrative to exist. So it's like I don't like stuff like that, man. You know, this man's not talking to you because he's too stubborn to listen to anything other than what he's grown to believe. And these people are the same people that took the poke. I'm gonna watch my mouth. That took the poke. He's the same people, man. You are so stubborn. You have refused to listen to anything other than what you've been led to believe by the same people who constantly lied to you your whole life. You took the blue pill, and now you're hurting for it. Like I said, something happened or whatever, and that power outage go out, and people may be begging you for help and stuff like that. Now we enemies, remember? You don't fuck with me. Continue to talk about children wanting to get a job, which would involve using the SSN. Actually, done because 42 USC 40888 says that it is unlawful for anybody to inquire your social security number from you. So you could put all zeros, or you can just leave it blank, or you can just use an EIN. Some people use EINs. Speak your truth, and you will harvest the weeds out your circle. Boom. That's facts. His wife and kids still talk to me. That's that shit though, man. Like, as long as you weren't like a jerk or anything like that, you know, if you was a jerk or something like that, you probably. But I mean, if you was a jerk, the kids and the wife still wouldn't be talking to you. But I mean, that just makes him look weird at that time. But I'm gonna tell you something though, man. Like, what you guys gotta also realize, a lot of these factions with these public servants, they had their own enclaves, and they don't step outside them enclaves. A lot of them, because there's a lot of uh what's the word I'm searching for? There's like a hierarchy of such, and certain groups don't step outside the hierarchy. Like there's a guy I used to hang out with that he's actually a lieutenant for Baltimore City Police now. And this dude, we used to street race with this dude. He was the wildest one out of all of us. He was a white boy and shit, but he was the we used to call him Paul Walker and shit because he was like the whole group had street race. We used to street race and stuff. And this mofo was the wildest one. Like this mofo would drive the opposite way up the road. Back then we was driving. They drive the opposite way. Are you crazy, motherfucking white boy? He used to love when we called him that though. But yeah, he would do stuff like that. And we was cool with this cat, man. Knew him for years, yo. Cool dude, man. No issues, man. I ended up seeing this guy, I want to say about 7 years ago now. And I hadn't spoke to him since like 2005 or 4. And I saw this dude, and he looked the same pretty much. He had his wife and his kid with him. So I was like, "Oh, what's going on, man? What's up with you?" He was like, "Oh, what's up, man? What's going on?" You know, I was like, "Oh, where you been at, man?" I've been laying low, man. You know. I said, "Yeah." He's like, "You know, I'm a police officer now." I said, "Yeah. I know. I heard you was a police officer." He was like, "Yeah, man." He was like, "Yo, I had to stop coming around y'all, man, because." And he just got quiet, and he was like, "Some of the, it's a whole thing. You know, I'm a police officer, so." It's a lot. And I knew what he was trying to say. He was basically saying since he's a police officer, he's in whatever squad he rolls with, they don't fuck with people that's not police officers. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Some of the shit these people have seen, acts they've seen committed by people. I'm not gonna say which people because we can put two and two together. But some of these acts we've seen committed, or not we, but some of the acts they've seen committed by these people, you know, it leads them to not want to venture too far away from those people for reasons that's obvious if you're not an idiot. But yeah, so he was like, yeah, some of the stuff I see, man, is crazy. I was like, oh, I believe it. Trust me, I get it, man, because there's not much difference between uh here's how I'm gonna say this: factions by the state and factions by the street. Perfect. I've said it perfect. Street factions and state factions. There's not too much difference besides the fact that one of them is sanctioned by the state. So some of that stuff that happens, you know what I mean? Things ain't always things ain't always by the book, and I can say that because we already know what it is. But yeah, they will just fade out of your life because they can't be on your level. It shatters their fragile construct of a false reality. Yeah, man. I talked to a family member of mine about all this stuff, and I told him to holler at me about it because he was like, "Yo," he saw my plates. Like, "Yo, what's up with the plates?" And you know how that goes. They ask about the plates. You tell them what it means, and they say, they ask you another question. You get pulled over. You tell them the answer to that, and then they got another question. Tell them the answer to that. You got another question, and it just keeps going like this. And I said, you know what, bro? We be here all day talking. The best thing to do is for you to reach out for me for a consultation, and I can break it down for you step by step. All the questions you have are excellent questions, and they all need to be addressed. But I don't have time to do it right now because I'm on the clock. They never reached out to me, and I thought that was interesting because you have all these questions, and it's not like I was charging them because he's my family, but nah, he didn't reach out, so I'm like, okay, well, must not have wanted to know that bad, but it's like you said, some people ain't ready to take that blue pill yet. Brian Bean, what up? What's up, fam? Has any nationals had problems with the all caps name having warrants, or they just let you know you need to take care of them and still let you go? I actually know a guy that had a few warrants on him. He had like I think they put 4 warrants on him or something like that, and he still continued to travel. But see, the difference is his license was expired, and they still try to charge his license, which is bullshit. Because once the contract is over, you can't keep reinforcing a contract that's expired. The agreement was this amount of years, and you got your years, and now that contract is dead. So now there's nothing they can do to enforce that shit. And then with him having his stuff straight with the passport and all that, they really don't do shit to him. I mean, he was like, yeah, he had a few warrants on him because they got pissed off because he'll be traveling, right, and he'll have his private plates on, and they'll pull him over, and then they can't do nothing, and then they'll give him a bunch of tickets. He don't give a fuck about no tickets because they can't really do shit about it. He just won't even go to court for real. And then they'll put out they'll his license is already expired, so they don't like the fact they can't suspend his license because the contract's expired. So they'll just put warrants out for him. He'll get pulled over again, and do not detain means do not detain. So they can't ever do shit about it. And they only have a certain amount of time they can serve a warrant, I believe. Somebody told me it was like 90 days or something. Don't quote me on that. Y'all need to look that up. But I think it's somebody said it's like 90 days or something, and then they got to reissue it or something. But yeah, he got letters from him basically saying that they wanted to null something. I can't remember what the Latin terminology was, but they basically wanted to let go of the charges or whatever. It's the weirdest. It's weird, man. So they'll like do like 30 days, and then they'll send him a letter saying no something, and then he'll get more warrants on him. It's crazy. But yeah, it's just like it's just like we've learned for it to be, the warrants and stuff like that. They can't really do shit because they attack the license. If you don't have a license, it is what it is. Job for the teenager, don't fill out the W-4, use the WABN. You can use the WABN, but I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of them employers, they piss their pants when they see that WABN. A lot of employers piss their pants when they see that WABN. They be like, "Oh, we don't know what this is. Please don't do this to us," because they gotta take it because it says on the I-9 form at the top, not accepting paperwork is discrimination, and you will be prosecuted for it. It says it right at the top of the I-9 form. You can use the I-9 form. You can use the WABN. The W-4 form can be used. You just gotta fucking read. You gotta read it. It's right in the directions. And it blew me away because the whole time we were doing W-4 forms, we never filled it out the right way because we did not read it. You got to read the directions. I discovered this myself. I read the directions in the instructions in the directions section. And it tells you what to do on it, literally. So there's no excuse for ignorance. There's about 4 different forms you can use. You can use the W4V, which means you can go ahead and fill out the form the regular way, and you can W4V the joint, which basically stops the tax. And this is all for informational purposes. What you guys do with this information is completely on you. I take no responsibility for any of that. I don't give legal advice, nor will I ever give legal advice. If you need legal advice, go seek an attorney who can give you legal advice. I can give you information, which is what this is. So let me give it to you. So the W4V form you can actually use for tax, the exemption, or excuse me, tax, basically tax removal. You can use the I-9 form. A lot of people use that. The WABN can be used, but you're going to have an uphill battle trying to tell your employer to put that shit on file because they get nervous over the WABN. And then the W4 form can be used. Just read the instructions and look over the whole paper. Look at the whole paper from the top of the bot to the bottom to the next page, front and back. Read the whole thing and act accordingly. Now, I'm not even going to tell you the answer to that because I want y'all to start reading. Not y'all, but people. And we know everybody here reads. Thanks, A6, bro. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was trying to educate him. I thought he was my friend. Yeah, man, that's fucked up. So that means he wasn't your friend then. That means he wasn't your friend. How about that? Just like Alex said. Just like Alex said right here. Just like Alex said. They just fade out your life because they can't be on your level. It shatters their fragile construct of false reality. You know, and the thing about it is he believes something to be true, which actually isn't, which is the worst part, because you're trying to enlighten somebody who don't want to be enlightened. But you can't save the world. You can only save people who want to be saved. I remember those books when I was young as shit, 86. Oh yeah, yo, yeah, man. These joints right here, man. I got this joint from Spencer's, man. These were my man, let me tell you something, yo. These are some of the most horrifying books I ever read when I was younger, man. I read these books when I was in like, goddamn, what was I in 5th grade, 4th grade? We would go to the library and we would get these books. And when I was younger, they only had 2. And dude, the first one, I remember they had this one called Kino Tordan or something like that, where what the hell was it? It was this guy who stayed in his house. He was walking home. I'm not gonna tell the whole story. I'm getting off subject. I just want to tell you all this though. But he was walking home, and the guy, I think it was a blizzard or something like that. He stayed in this vacant house, and then the house kept telling him to get out and shit, and he didn't get out. And then he just heard like a loud thump at the chimney when he was standing on the couch, and then a head rolled out of the chimney and told him to get out or something. That shit was, these books were crazy, man. But I was surprised they let a lot of these creepy ass books in the schools, man. Like these books were disturbing as fuck, man. We were like goddamn 7 and 8 reading this shit. Like that's probably why a lot of us got problems now. Yes, sir. I'm getting ready to buy a flagpole and fly civil flag of peace. Listen, I finally found a civil flag of peace on I think I found one on eBay. They're hard to find, man. If you find a solid one, you can get them and you'll fly that bad. But people ask you what it means, then you can have it. Then you can start. It's just like the conversation I had with my cousin. Like this, you got to go through the questions. Be prepared to start explaining because they're gonna have a lot of questions. But yeah, the flag we have now, the red, white, and blue with the mostly red flag. That's a war flag. That's a flag of war. We're actually literally at war, which is why there's a maritime jurisdiction, and which is why police are able to enforce statutes and codes over your rights. Which is why you have to get a permit from the state. If you're a U.S. citizen, you have to get a permit from the state to carry. Which is why you need a license to drive, or they call it a license to drive. Basically, they try to say you're driving even though you're traveling. The military is military jurisdiction, basically admiralty jurisdiction. Yeah, they won't understand. They will ask you questions. All public agents, including law enforcement, take an oath. You damn right. Yes, they do, and you can get there. Oh, too. You go right down to the. I think you can go to this. What is it? Public records. What is? I know we have the comptroller. It's the comptroller here in Maryland. Some places, I think the state secretary or something like that. You can get the information from them with their signature of oath of office. You put that in on the case. They're probably fucking around and throw that shit out. With a lot of smaller cases. Plus, there are a lot of members in the fraternal order of police. Yeah, yeah, yep. That's true. That's true. I don't want to be around the cop. Period. I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. And to be fair, a lot of these cops, not all cops are assholes, man. I actually know some cops that are pretty cool. So I mean, you got some that are jerks, and you got some that'll shit all over your rights. But then you got some who don't. So I never played the guy that hates police. I don't, never have. But what I don't like is people who piss on people's rights. That's what I don't like. If you pissing on people's rights, you a dickhead. Honestly, that's how I feel. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you a goddamn librarian. If you pissing on people's rights, you an ass face. That's where I'm at with it. So now I'm not a anti-police guy per se. I wouldn't say that. Now, I've actually talked. I've had long conversations. I've had a long conversation with a police officer last week. We talked for like 3 hours. We were talking about all this shit. And he was like, "Really? So why don't they teach us this?" I said, "Well, because you work for the state, and the state is basically making money off people's ignorance, yours and the people who are pretty much not knowledgeable of their rights." And I told him I basically put him on point. Supreme Court says that police officers do not have a responsibility to protect you. They don't have a responsibility to protect you at all. So you ask yourself, well, what is the purpose of them? They're revenue collectors, and they're guardians of the state. That's what they are. They collect revenue for the state and they protect the politicians. So if the U.S. citizens ever want to put their foot in their politician's ass, they got to get through the police first. That's how it works. No need to read my email now. It's too long. And for later, I did UCC 1308 at DMV. Maybe I should update you on how it goes. What's the best way to get a hold of a federal judge that cares? That's a good question, man. That is a question I cannot give you the answer to right now. You might want to do some digging online. I couldn't tell you. I've never tried. Appreciate it. Thanks for all you do. How do I get private consultation? Got some private stuff to discuss. Hit my email, man. It's right there in the ticker, and if you hit the description section, it's right in there. Certificate of live birth from my hospital necessary or required in order to obtain a certified copy of birth certificate. I would say no. You can get your certificate of live. Wait a minute, hold on. I think you might be asking. No, look, this is why I was confused. I had to read it over again. Depends on what state you in. Here in Maryland, the certificate of live birth is the actual birth certificate that is signed by the doctor and your parents. So other states have it just what's called a birth certificate. But here in Maryland, it's a certificate of live birth, and then they give you the Ens Legis strawman birth certificate. So that they'll by default they give you the Ens Legis birth certificate. Like, here's your birth certificate. You're the all caps name. But like if you go and really start to do your research, you'll see the certificate of live birth here in Maryland is what you actually want. Get that authenticated. You can get that authenticated. That's what you want. That's full faith and credit. So whenever you go into a court, you want to put that bad boy in. And Tony Cooper said you show that to a judge, he'll get up and run away and dismiss the case. I'm gonna read the tax code and I'm just gonna fill out every single form and see what happens. Entertainment purposes only. Word. What up, Nico? Good to see you here, bro. A big problem is they get attached to the outcome rather than the process, so they won't listen until they see visual proof. The outcome only manifests by your will, dedication to the process. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. She is so well. She always nails everything every time we talk. Huh? She a badass. I tell you. Martial rule, martial law, martial rule. Same shit. Almost. Correct statutes, ordinances. Correct statutes and ordinances are for enemies of the state, aka U.S. citizens and the like. That's 100% facts. But here's the problem. Try explaining that to a police officer. They won't know what you're talking about. That's why I just rock with foreign national. They know what a foreign national is. And if you got their police policy and you show it to them, it's no debating. Everything is right there. So The military flag runs line horizontal because we the people are lying down. It's a flag of civil peace has vertical lines because we the people are standing up in charge. Only way we're gonna get that civil flag back as a national flag is if we get common law jurisdiction back, and if we get gold and silver. That's when the peace flag will come back. Once we get gold, because listen, they took the gold and silver, they took our shit. All right, they took the shit from the people. That is a direct action of a freaking terrorist or a goddamn criminal to take your shit. If I come in your house and take all your shit and give you some monopoly money and tell you to run around in the house and you got to pay me for shit to use in your house and stuff like that, you got to pay me a month to live in your bedroom, and I'm holding on all of your goddamn gold or whatever like that. I am by definition a criminal. That's 100% fact. So the only way we're getting that flag back is if gold and silver is put back into the economy as a standard form of currency, the actual money. And if we get with that will come common law. Because right now we using some bullshit, we using some man-made shit. So when you use man-made shit, you got man-made shit laws and stuff like that, which overshadow common law. I agree with Yusuf L. Ain't no common law right now. Ain't no common law courts anyway right now. There's no common law courts right. You can't get a common law court. Ain't no money. Y'all see Yusuf L yelling at y'all see Yusuf L spazzing out because people called him an Asian. Yo, that shit was hilarious, man. I tell you, Yusuf L says some questionable shit sometimes. And it's just interesting people start calling you an agent though. Like, wow, y'all just put him out there like that. Okay. you can just you can just order the long form birth certificate from your state or city vital records. Yeah, you gotta go on a website. Like you gotta order it online. It depends on the city or state you're in. But yeah, you just gotta go online here. You can't go in the building anymore unless you're making an appointment. They might have changed that though with the federal mask mandate being lifted. So who knows? I need to check and see because I would love to go in there and see the look on her face when I tell her I want the original. I would love to see the look on her face. Listen, man, I would love that, man. I might fuck around and do it with this little watch I got. I might be able to record this shit and upload it. Let you hear the conversation. What's your take on going to law libraries? Have you been able to go to any of them? Here's the thing, all right. That's another thing too. We tried to go to the law library last month, and apparently it was by appointment only. So with this mandate being lifted, we're gonna try to see what's up with getting down to a law library without making an appointment now. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, we're not too far from DC. So I got a group of 3 heads that are probably gonna roll. It might be more though, because I think we found more nationals here. So it might be like 5 of us. So it might be best to like carpool or something and travel down there. It includes the medical information. Yep. And here's the thing: the original actually has the feet prints when you were a baby. The original has your feet prints. Somebody told me that the Vatican has a hold of your soul because when you were born, they took copies of your feet prints and the copy of the birth certificate they don't want to give you. It's at the Vatican. They said they're stored in that underground base, that underground spot where like all that miles of land is unaccessible, but by 3 people in the world or something like that. And they said your birth certificate is down there with the feet prints. And my boy thinks that they own your soul. I don't. First off, you can't own anybody's soul unless they give it away. You can't just own a baby's soul when they're born. Hell no, I don't believe that. That's not only that's violating God's law. Now you playing with fire now. Absolutely not. You can't enslave people. They gotta have a choice and they gotta choose that shit. That's why a lot of this stuff is by contract. A lot of these things people go through is by contract. And that's why a lot of times when them nationals get pulled over with a passport and they got private plates, they can't. A lot of times they can't even tow their car. You got some assholes who will overstep, but they can be punished for that shit because if you don't have plates on it, you don't have a contract. They don't own your car. They don't own your property. It includes medical information. We're born, yes, indeed. The cold and book copy are different. Nah, it's so many different terminologies. I've heard this one lady told me from Texas. She said that hers was It's called the long form. And then here it's called the certificate of live birth. Some places are called book copy. It's so many. It's even called book copy here in certain places too. They changed the name because people keep asking for it. When people start asking for stuff a lot, they keep changing it. Y'all know how they do? They start changing. When people start catching on, they change stuff. You know how it is. You know what it is. My first and middle name is lower and uppercase, and my last name is all caps. My son's certificate of live birth is all caps. Yeah, that's not the real certificate of live birth then. They're trying to give you some bullshit to placate you so you don't ask for that. They don't want you to have the one with the signature because you can get that authenticated and have full faith and credit backed by the state pretty much. And you can use that to discharge debt. They don't want you to have that. That's why they try to give you that all caps one. No certificate of live birth should be in all caps. If your certificate of live birth is in all capital names and it looks like it was typed on a typewriter and there's no signatures on that bad boy, they gave you some bullshit. They gave you something that you can just use to go get a passport real fast. The reason they started giving those out is because people started asking for them for one, and two, the passport companies no longer accepted the straw man's ends legis birth certificate anymore. So what they went ahead and did was they don't want to give you the one with the signature, so they made a bullshit one in between to give you. And only if you're really knowledgeable will you know which one to ask for. They'll try to give you the bullshit one. They try to do that shit to me. I was like, hell no, you better give me my certificate of life. I want the one with the signature on it and the upper and lowercase spelling. They swore up and down they didn't know what I was talking about. I swear, I was on the phone for 25 minutes with this lady, and she was acting like she didn't know. She was acting like I was speaking. I started speaking like Vietnamese or something like that. Like she stopped comprehending anything I was saying, you know. So I had to talk to the manager. The manager tried to play stupid at first too, until I started talking about ends legis and stuff like that. she started laughing, and she said, "Go to the," and she let out like a chuckle, and she was like, "Go to the website, do this, this, and this, and this, and this is how you get it." That's what I did. And I got it. So yeah, I'm telling you, man, they're trying to play you, man. They try. You better know your shit because they're gonna try to play you 100%. And so they try to get over when you lost. All state nationals to fly the civil flag of peace. Agreed. They will never bring back gold and silver. We have to start privately trading with gold and silver. That's what I'm saying. Like it's probably fucking around be some type way where we gotta bring back uh common law courts amongst each other and shit. You know, mess around and get like 30 to 100, 150, 200 nationals together. Everybody chip in, gold and silver, buy a big ass plot of land, build your own shit on them bad boys, have your own community with under a trust, and have that trust and agreement with the United States. That way, that jurisdiction is 100% private. No police officers allowed to set foot. No government agents allowed to set foot on your property at that point. Had that joint 100% private. Govern yourselves. We got our own gold, our own silver. We got all that stuff in circulation. We got all that. Our own courts, our own law enforcement that enforce constitutional law. They're not gonna give it to you, man. You gotta do it yourself. But the trick is getting people on board to do that, man. It's just people on all different pages. You know, we can't get the gold and silver back until the debt is paid off. Listen, you ain't paying off no debt. All right. First off, ain't no damn. The only debt is the gold and silver. That's the only valid debt. He says, problem with that, no structured process exists to pay the principal off. That's why it's illegal to pay off the national debt. It ain't no debt. Like the only debt that's really owed is the gold and silver, bro. But the gold and silver that they took, whatever national debt is supposed to be, will never be equal to all the gold and silver they took from us. It won't, and it'll never be. If you had, listen, let me tell you something. If you have gold or silver coins that are, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna say gold coins. If you have gold coins that were minted from back in the day, they are worth cheese. So just imagine how many coins were taken, and how much pounds of gold was taken. That will be far more than any national debt will ever be able to reach. It'll never reach that. That's the scheme. The only debt that's owed is the national debt of the gold and silver that was taken. Anything else is monopoly money. Facts. Soul plate for the feet prints. I said soul plate for the feet prints. Was it a soul plate? I heard it was on the bottom of the certificate of live birth, the book copy or something like that. Soul, their way of saying they claimed your soul, but it's just a sick joke. They didn't take your soul. That's what I'm saying. I don't believe that shit at all. You can't just be taking. Nah, hell no. First off, that is God's property. And you start fucking with God's shit, you're not even gonna make it out of the damn room. Like spontaneously combust or explode or something. Brandon Rogers, good evening, 86 round time of chat. Any update on finding the I sent you that. Somebody sent me an email asking about the MSO and the certificate of with the certificate of origin, right? Somebody emailed me asking for that, and I sent it already. So if it wasn't you, you need to hit my email so I can send it again because I still have it on my file. But yeah, I sent that over. I have one from the doctor that has the original wedding signatures on it. It's in blue paper, no footprints though. Wow, you have the original. How'd you get the original? How the hell did you get that? I've got the wrong ones, and they are authenticated. I don't know, man. I wouldn't trust that, bro. I wouldn't trust that. They say it's the first place your feet land where you are claimed, so it's artificial life claim trick. Hell no. You'll never, nah. They'll never be able to get me with that. Hell no. Check out one United States Code 8. If you know how to cite that, you can prove your authorization of your government name. It admits your birth certificate names the artificial entity basically. Yeah, ends legis, 100%. All right, look, let me drop this link in here. Hopefully my man Thomas is still watching. Time to drop the link and get a guest up in here. So if you feel like you want to jump on, the link is in the bottom. I'm gonna finish catching up on these comments because I'm behind like hell. The national debt is the debt that the U.S. corporate owes to the U.S. That's what I'm saying. Like that ain't no debt that we owe to them. Hell no. That's what they owe us. In listen, bruh, listen. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. I'm trying to tell you. People think there's gold and silver in Fort Knox. Fort Knox is fucking empty. Yo, ain't nothing in Fort Knox. All the gold and silver is in Britain and probably in the Vatican by now. Because you know, Britain owns the United States corporation and the Vatican owns Britain. So I would go as far as to say that. That's why I papered up with the American State National Assembly. As soon as we have 40 people in every county, we can start our own common law courts. He be in here every week talking about the American State National Assembly. Nom de gore. Boom, that's what it is. Nom de gore, yeah. That's the Latin terminology. Debt is in paperwork accounting purposes for the U.S. bankruptcy. No debt is real without a personally signed contract. Agreed. Is the one I got from my mother when I moved out. I'm just wondering how some people get those and some people struggle all their life to get them joints. That's weird. Unless somebody's parents knew already and it's like, hey, cough it up. Tell you, if I knew this, listen, if I knew what I know now, I wouldn't have left it. I wouldn't have, I'm like, look, the only way we are going to sign this is if you give me this copy and you give me you take the copy of it. I'm taking this original home. Bottom line. And we'd have both signed that bitch without prejudice too. Shit, they take advantage of ignorance, man, not knowing. Yeah, that was me that sent that to email you, but I didn't get the document yet. I definitely sent it, Brandon. Check your emails again, man. I definitely sent it over. I know for a fact I sent it. If you need it again, hit me. I'll be glad to send it again, but I'm pretty sure I sent that to you because I took the time to fax it. Fax. I said fax. I took the time to scan it. Keep saying fax. I'm thinking I'm at work and shit. But yo, here's the link right here again. Hop in, please, if you can, so we can go live. If you do want to, if you don't do want to conversate, what is this? This is crazy. People crazy. Do you think there are any celebrities that are nationals? I think that sometimes, but I'll be honest, these dudes probably have so much shit to do and so much to worry about. These motherfuckers ain't thinking about they don't even feel like they're U.S. citizens because they got so much damn money. So I doubt it. I doubt there's any. I doubt it, man. Just like I used to wonder why they don't just put their stuff in the trust. I don't think it's that simple, man. All right, so I got my man in the green room, my man Joel.
How you doing?
What up, Joel? What's good with you, man? How you been?
I've been all right, and I'm just trying to see if you guys want to hear some experience from the DMV about a driver's license recently.
Hell yeah, let's hear it, man.
All right, this was pretty funny actually. I went in there. I was going to do the UCC 1308, and I tried to prepare by getting some good pencils and pens, but I kind of thought that it'd be a pin pad anyway. And well, it was a pin pad, and when I tried to write my name, the pin pad didn't even pick up my name really. It was like so cruddy. So I tried to put on this the little thing on there, like I just said before, and it wasn't working. So I just said screw it and gave up. And then I sat there and thought for a while, and I redid the whole entire thing. I'm like, hey, can I change my signature? you know. So then, as I'm doing that, I'm watching to see what's going on, and as you're signing it, the lady can actually see everything that's going on, like every type of movement that your hand is making on there, right? So what I did is I signed like this and then skipped up here and then signed some more and then skipped up there. And I kept on going like this, to make it look like it was just natural. And it turned out I finally made it with like a medium size, and it still turned out kind of cruddy, but it's kind of there. I can doctor it up a little bit. And that's just it. I just wanted to kind of like share with you guys basically so you know what it's like to go in there, that you really should kind of like do it like I said, where you kind of write a part of the signature, then go above it, then back to the signature and above it, and that you got to write a little bit on the big side. So because I finally got to like view it where I was sitting. I got to view what was going on. So I'm losing audio again here. I don't know.
My bad. Brian Bean says I've had the same problem. It literally said signature not recognized or too complicated. This is exactly why I don't like digital stuff, man, because it tries to force you down like a path you should necessarily have to follow. Like you can't. I'm against forcing somebody to sign their name a certain way. That's retarded to me. So I guess what I would have done is ask for like a paper copy of a contract you could sign, and can she scan it that way? Because how you want to sign your name, it wouldn't have let you.
If they do that.
Say it again.
If they would let you do that, I don't know.
I mean, shit. At the end of the day, they need to sell you a license. You don't need to sell them a license.
That's a good point. Put in the right domain.
Man, like y'all, look, I'm a customer. I'm trying to do business. I want to reserve all my rights. I always reserve all my rights, whatever I do. So if y'all want my business, I'll be glad to give you the business.
I'm still gonna put a sticker above it all with the full written everything out, without prejudice and all that stuff, because they can't claim that I'm defacing that way. You know what I mean? And I can claim one more thing. I can say, hey, look, I signed it this way, regardless of the pin pad. I signed it that way. You know what I'm saying? They can't prove that otherwise. That I didn't, because I signed it that way. That's my signature, and regardless of how the pin pad picks it up, it's always going to remain true as long as my words hold solid. Again, it's all about keeping your words solid and being the boss, like you said.
My man's telling the truth right there. There you go.
Yeah.
Absolute, absolute. Smile Sunshine says, "Wow, Joel, you're a rebel." My man Joel got the rebel style out here.
Man, I was cheering in the car after that, and I talked to the Bad Wolf. He actually called me. He's like, I'm not supposed to normally be calling you here, but taking time away from my family. But yeah, man, it was a great deal, and I've been through a lot, to make it up here. So
Shit, you should have just signed it without prejudice and without signing your name, just write in cursive without prejudice. I wonder if that will work.
I don't know, because the lady's sitting there watching it. It's kind of funny.
Like I'd have done it anyway, man, because I'm shit. I'm gonna try to get the international driver's license. Somebody referred me to this company that does them, and it was like, yeah, I had signed it like without prejudice, whatever. So I paid the little fee or whatever. So she had actually called me back about an hour later, and she was like, yeah, you can't. You can't sign like this. I said, what you mean I can't sign it like that? How did I sign it? She was like, you put something above your signature. You can't put that on there. I said, well, why not? And she was like, because you just can't. I said, how about you just send me my money back? We done here.
Right?
Tell me how I can't sign my name. My man William F says state nationals don't sign, we autograph. That is facts. These are agents just executing their CPU scripts on you. The test is for you to break their function with truth, crack their code. Listen, I probably, yeah, you're right. I honestly, I probably would have been like, yo, where the manager at? Where's the manager? I need to talk to the manager right here. Get the manager over, like, I'm just trying to sign this document so I can go on about my business and make it seem like, you know, this person sitting here is the asshole. And then they ask you, what's the problem? I don't know. They won't let me sign the information the way I want to sign it, you know? Because at the end of the day, you should always be able to reserve all your rights. And they know what they're doing because they don't want you to reserve your rights because they want to trample all over them. They don't want you to exercise your right to travel and, all this other stuff. Telling someone how to sign is legal advice. And that would be practicing law without a license. Word. There you go. Are you giving me legal advice?
Nice.
That's facts. I didn't even think about that. That's true. Plus, you can't tell the next man what their sign of nature has to be or cannot be. Yeah. Yep. That's facts. They stutter and get hella confused and nervous and just repeat their. Yeah. That's true, Alex. They do that. Yeah, he said, ask him, are you giving me legal advice? They be like, no, I'm not giving. Oh, well, it sounds like legal advice because, if this is not legal, it sounds like legal advice. You practicing law without a license. If you telling me how to sign my name, goddamn. I'm trying to sign and they want to give us legal advice. Exactly. You mess around and be able to report them to the Secretary of State, too. I believe there's a form for that. There's a mishap form I actually showed you guys, I think in February. There's a mishap form you can actually fill out with the Secretary of State. Or excuse me, the Department of State, rather. The Department of State. There's a mishap form. Check my old videos. But there's I believe it was in February I told you guys about the mishap form. I actually filled one out before too. I haven't heard anything back yet, but let me tell you how backlogged these people are, man. This document right here, I'm holding in my hand. I sent these people a Freedom of Information Act in I think this was late. No, it was in early 2021 because I wanted to do a Freedom of Information Act for the DS11 form. I sent this early 2021. I just got a response in, I want to say, early March, or maybe late February, basically telling me they needed some more information, this, that, and the third. So I go back and forth with them twice more. So I finally get a piece of mail from them on the 14th of this month, basically telling me this letter is to acknowledge receipt of your Freedom of Information Act Privacy Act request dated March 22nd, 2022 at the Department of State Passport Services. Your Freedom of Information Act request was assigned to the above tracking number. Please include the tracking number in all future communications concerning this Freedom of Information Act request. So listen to this, all right? This office has adopted a first in, out practice of processing all incoming requests. Your request has been placed in a chronological order based on the date of receipt. Please note that due to C19, we are facing significant processing delays. Records that are electronically available may take anywhere from 2 to 4 months to process. However, if the records you are seeking are not electronically available in our system, a manual search of paper records located at the National Archives will be needed. This manual search can take anywhere from 4 to 6 months to retrieve records. So this is how backed up they are right now because of that. And it's probably longer than that, honestly. They probably about how long it took them to get back to me from the original request. I would say they might be about a year and a half or maybe 2 years out. It's just crazy how backed up these people are. But yeah, and this is lack of employees. You call it that. You just call it insurmountable paperwork that backed up on them from just the time that they were shut down and stuff. Yeah, there was a long period of time they were shut down, so there's a lot of requests that basically didn't get processed in time. I would use my right to travel if I knew how to do the insurance trust thing. Yeah, so there's actually a lot of people don't know self insurance is actually one of the options that's on those police forms. I've actually had a car back in the day that got hit by another dude who was driving, and my shit got smashed up. And when I filed the information with the police officer, they had this form that was very interesting because it had the information for all the party, and in 4 different categories, it had like the name, license plate, year, make, and the model, and then it had the insurance there, and then it had like 4 different boxes. It said uh company, and then it had a line next to it. Then it had trust line next to it, estate line next to it, and then it had self. Like self was one of the options, so you can be self-insured. That was interesting too. If it's on that paperwork, it's definitely it definitely exists. That's not something they want to tell you though, because they're in bed with the state. The insurance companies are all in bed with the state. They all make their money symbiotically.
You mind if I throw something in there real quick?
What's up, man?
Recently I learned something about getting charges on people. So, like, let's say a prosecutor won't do anything, or whatever Department of Justice, whoever you talk to or whatever. As I've learned, it seems that if you can get a hold of a judge directly, and it's somewhere in the law books because I called the law library about this. You get a hold of a judge directly, and I believe you do like a writ of mandamus, which means it's mandatory. You're telling them what to do, and you have it all put on the public record. When you do all those things together, I believe that there's not really much else that they can do, but actually do what you say. If you got the proof, they got to file charges, even against authorities. I'm pretty sure that that's exactly how it is. And if they wouldn't even want to, that's really bad being on the public record. And I mean, that's just the beginning. They just really literally have to do it, I believe. So.
That's interesting stuff, man. Definitely writ of mandamus, huh?
That's basically like almost like the word mandatory or something like that. I was on savingdamon.com, and they got the sui juris, however you say that, guide, and it's just mind-blowing. I guess the story gets pretty intense that people's children are taken away. I guess 66.6% of them are wrongfully taken away. Look at that number. 2/3 of them. And they sometimes end up being, given to the cabal and put across seas and chopped up or something. I hate to say this stuff, but or other bad things, sexual things or whatever. Or they just plain and simply end up in foster homes where they're put on drugs because they're overreacting because they don't have their parents, psychiatric drugs. One way or another, it's really bad, right? So this guy wrote this book about fighting through the whole system and all the stuff he did. And it's just mind-blowing. I mean, everything that he's talking about, it's all about putting stuff on the record. And once you do that, it's just like a super powerful thing. And the other things I'm talking about too. So
very interesting stuff, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different methods out there people use. There's more than one way to get busy if you got to stand in front of those people, man. But you're right. It's so many different ways to do it.
Well, they don't even have to. They try to fight with you. And as long as you hold true that your creator's your creator, God's your creator, you state what's going on, you don't change it, you tell them what to do. There's nothing that they can do, really. All they can do is follow what you say. And you just bust through it like that with that attitude, that philosophy, and you win, guaranteed. I know it doesn't sound like it's that easy, but it really is. That's exactly the way it is. You hold exactly what the truth is, get it on the record, make sure that you got a lot of people involved, all that stuff, Yeah.
Yeah. That is I've seen that. I remember that one guy was in court. He had the 3-cornered hat on. I'll never forget that guy. He had a 3-cornered hat on. I am the living man. Don't you talk to me that way. I'm the living man. I was like, damn, she dismissed the case though. He sure walked up out of that bitch. So yeah, I guess
Whole lot. But anybody that wants to know about this really has to read that book. It's free. and it's mind blowing. I mean, super mind blowing. So I mean, don't just take my word for it. Read the book if you want it. You know.
What's the book called again?
It's something that like the sui juris guide, getting everything on the public record, and it's a real story about these people. I guess that it's on SavingDamon.com. It's about a kid that was about to be taken away, and it's really sick what happened to these people. I think somebody like falsely accused them of something, and next thing you know, no lawyer would help their kids, and their kids were going to be taken away or something like that. And it's like, you think about losing money or a house or something. Now that's something to really piss you off. Messing with someone's family. These guys fought and they dropped all their lawyers because the lawyers would never be able to do anything for them. They just literally dropped them all. So, okay, we're done. And they did exactly what I said. They walked through the system and they won.
That's badass, man.
SavingDamon.com. We all need to know this stuff, man.
SavingDamon.com.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Let's get let me drop this link again here. Anybody else wants to hop in? Link again right there in the comments section. Anybody wants to hop in with any words, any information you might have had, or any processes you might have tried, any advice you might have for anybody listening, drop that on us. Let's see. Man, I'll tell you, this weather's been all over the place here in Maryland, man. Like today it was like goddamn near hot. She says, Nico says, how do you spell that website?
Let me see if I can type that in really quick.
Yeah, let me see if I can. You said savingdamon.com, right?
Yeah.
I see it here. It looks like the same format that hold on. Just the same format Jonah Bay uses. There's the website right here. Saving Damon. And all the documents and stuff. They got busy with the paperwork over here.
It's a really big story. This is really serious stuff here.
The book is called Sui Juris.
Yep, you got it.
Getting the Truth in the Record. Sui Juris. That is on my to buy list. Yep, that's it right there. Sui Juris. That's something we all need to get our hands on, a book like this.
Yeah, this is for real. I'm telling you, I was just on fire when I read this book. It was just like, oh my goodness, every second, you know, even though it's kind of like repeating itself, you got to read the whole thing because you can feel it. You can feel what's happening through the whole thing.
Great stuff. My man Nico says, much appreciated. Yes, indeed.
You bet. I'm out to help everybody here, as always.
Yes, sir. Our tribe is wonderful, I tell you.
Just imagine what would happen if we'd all team up together doing this stuff. We're all undivided. Or if we were all undivided. You know, we're all divided right now so much. Most of us are in this nation. Just imagine.
Why would you say that, though?
I mean, we're not in this room, but most of the people in our nation is divided. You know, they don't understand things like what we're talking about. But just imagine if, like, at least like most of us were undivided. We were all together on this. You know.
There's actually it looks like a PDF. You can actually.
Yeah, it's free, man. It's free.
Oh, it's free. Oh,
nice. It's free.
Fire. Yeah. Grab that. Yeah. Grab that definitely.
Yeah, man. Read about these people.
That's a lot of reading. That's what we do here. A lot of reading. Prof says the key on 1 USC 8 is you are not an infant. Once you have declared your status as a national, you are considered the age of majority and thus none of these monikers anymore. Let's look at 1 United States Code 8 then. Let's take a look at it, shall we? Let's move forward. 1 United States Code 8. right, let's move forward. I got you. Here we go. All right, so 1 United States Code 8, person, human being, child, and individual, as including born alive infant. In determining the meaning of any act of Congress or any ruling, regulation, or interpretation of the various administrative bureaus and agencies of the United States, the words person, human being, child, and individual shall include every infant member of the species not Homo sapiens who is born alive at any stage of development. As used in this section, the term born alive with respect to the member of the species Homo sapiens means complete expulsion or extraction from his or her mother at that member at any stage of development, who after such expulsion or extraction breathes or has a beating heart, pulsation of umbilical cord, or definite movement of voluntary muscles, regardless of whether the umbilical cord has been cut, and regardless of whether the expulsion or extraction occurs as a result of natural or induced labor, cesarean section, or induced abortion. Holy shit. Nothing in this section shall be construed to affirm, deny, expand, or contract any legal status or legal right applicable to any member of any species Homo sapiens at any point prior to being born alive, as defined by this section. There's a lot of paperwork down here too. What is this? What is this? Oh, that's something else. Why is that here? I don't know. That was weird for that to be next to that. But yeah, okay. So you better be careful though, because they might try to tamper with this whole thing happening with the pro-choice thing and all that stuff. They might. I know that's one of the things that these people are hell bent on, is to do more sinister things to people. Yeah, I'm trying to limit my words in terms of what I'm trying to say, but the pro-choice thing and all that stuff that's a whole movement. But yeah, 100%. We were never. Notice those titles of nouns are bastardized by legalese. Stick to those terms the code doesn't have to identify with. You are not humankind either. It means hue, a man of color. Yep, we're mankind. If you don't want to be deprived on the color of law, don't pick up their crayons. Yep, facts. That's a good nugget right there. Shout out to Alex on that one. That was a golden nugget right there. Yes, indeed. Great piece of information there. Yes, indeed. So what you been up to otherwise, Joel? What you been reading otherwise?
I'm trying to put down some notes because I'm trying to get that all prepped together here. So first of all, before I got two other subjects to cover, but before that, I was just gonna say again, as usual, when I had the most difficult time in the world, I prayed to God and saw the impossible change. And like Mark 11:24 in the Bible too is important. And I just want to let you know, it's like nothing else, really. It's not like any other stuff we're doing. I got respect and I absolutely love all the stuff that we're looking at, the law of attraction, all that, but this stuff is way different. I mean, God is God, and that's what I learned by seeking God. So that's the only way you can find out, I guess. But anyways, carrying on a little bit though, I ordered some gold foil, the stuff that's kind of like edible off eBay, because I want to create a pyramid and put some gold foil at the top. And I've studied atmospheric energy before. So I guess for like 3 feet, there's 100 volts change or something like that. I want to create a pyramid, and I guess you should make put the gold on the top and then make the walls really smooth and like a perfect insulator almost, or something like that. And then it starts it should start attracting water. And if you put wool coming from the gold top down to the bottom, you should be able to get a massive amount of electricity or something like that. I just want to start messing around with that. I just haven't had the time. And I'm an electrical engineer too. I know how to figure out a way to convert this high voltage into usable power. I can figure it out at least, I'm sure, because you're kind of like getting static energy off of it in a way. So the old TVs, you put your hand up there, you feel the static on the screen. That's like a high voltage right there. And it's not so usable, some of this atmospheric energy, but I believe that I can make some sort of a capacitor battery that can work with this. And I just want to get this energy situation going. And also, the other topic, just to put it all out there, and I'm probably out of topics then. I've been working on ways to live longer. So studying hyperbaric chambers. And I don't know if anybody gets into that much, but it really does appear that in the ancient days that the PSI, the air pressure PSI was around 80 PSI. Now we're at about 14.7, and the oxygen was up an extra around 12%. Not too much more oxygen, but there was a lot more PSI. It's like we were all inside of a hyperbaric chamber. And in these ancient days, way, way, way back, you would find that insects like spiders would grow to be like monster size, and animals would grow monster size. People were actual literal giants, going back to the story of Gilgamesh and all that stuff, So everybody grew bigger, and then according to the accounts, the history, people would live to like 500 or 1,000, like in the Bible times. And that's why we think that this is happening. So I'm working on some invention ideas to live longer, and at the very least, it's going to make somebody healthier and happier. I ask a lot of people out there, you want to live a lot longer? And they say, no, I don't want to live any longer than I'm going to. I'm like, well, the negativity catches up with people, But let me just throw this one for you real quick. Here's going to give you a good example. There's a video on YouTube about a football player. And he's got a simple H-bot, which is not even a real deal hyperbaric chamber. It's just an H-bot. It only goes up an extra like 4.3 psi. Okay, and sometimes they don't even use pure oxygen in there. He says just by messing with that thing, when he gets an ankle injury, it takes him 3 weeks to heal. He goes in the H-bot and he gets healed in 3 hours. That's a big division right there, right?
Wow.
So, yeah, we all need to be. I mean, we're all into taking care of our bodies, like you said, and into these amazing facts and things. And so, I just want to share that with anybody. Anybody wants to get a hold of me to really work on this. Phone number is 414-JUST-JOEL, JUSJOEL, and that's pretty much where it's at right there.
Yeah, be careful, man, because when don't be like that one scientist who figured out how to create free energy from crystals, and they came to his house and took all his stuff. They took his laptops, his devices, his machines. They took everything from him. Like, damn.
And that's the one thing I forgot to add on to this. I was thinking about the whole time. Here I'm talking about living longer and free energy, and then how to get through the court system, man. I'm like flagged with, I don't know, maybe the worst flag ever right now.
You said you were what?
I'm probably flagged with the worst color flag you can have right now after bringing up all these topics tonight.
And I will be deleting this video afterwards. I'll be erasing this video. I pretty much anytime you talk about any kind of thing, against that, we're probably all on some kind of list or something. But we're out here for the betterment of mankind. I just watched Jupiter ascending yesterday. Big symbolism and truth about law. Yeah, I'll tell you some symbolism if you want to see some of it and such. I told y'all about this before. Please go and watch that new Marvel movie they have out, Moon Knight. It's not a movie; it's a show. But there's so much information in that show about the Egyptian way of thinking. Because most of it takes place in Egypt. But yeah, it's deep. The gods and all that stuff is crazy. Thoth, it looks like the god that's supposed to be helping him out resembles Thoth a little bit. It's crazy. And John Wick too. Yes, and please watch John Wick as well. Yes, I need to. I ain't gonna lie. I need to watch the first two John Wicks. I watched the third one. I was highly disappointed. The third one was crap, but I heard the first two were fire. John Wick, yes, sir. Agreed. All right, so, man, I think we're coming around the stretch right now. I'm about to grab something to eat. I'm stupid hungry, and I'm a little tired. Long ass day today. Great information dispersed. Thank you for tuning in. Let me see. Nico says a lot of the movies are great info for us. Those of us who can see it, agreed. The third one was the only one I saw as well. It was super weird. I did not like the third one. It was crap. I gotta watch the first and second. I plan on doing that though pretty soon. We're gonna talk about it when I do though. But yes, sir. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been great. Great information. Joel, thank you for hopping on here and letting us know what you know. I will be looking into this book right here, Sui Juris.
Please do.
Yes, indeed. We'll be looking into that book and we will be discussing.
Make
So,
sure you read the full book too. There's two different kinds. Make sure to read the full book. I thought at first it was repeating and rambling itself, but then I realized read every word in that book. Trust me. Don't speed read it or nothing. Unless you really get it.
Got you. All right, I will be doing it. So we got some homework. It is IA6, the Foreign National Born Natural. Thank you guys for tuning in. Joel, again, thank you for tuning in too. Next Sunday we'll be live and direct. All right. So by the way, anybody who makes beats here, I know we got a lot of people to listen. If any of you guys make beats, like I'm looking for some lo-fi, slow hip hop flavored beats that I can play that loop for about like 15 to 20 minutes because I'm planning on starting to drop videos with just audio commentary on certain things. It's not going to be an audience involved. It's just basically just going to be me, and it'll be like over some kind of rhythmic beat. So if you have any of those, please reach out to me. Let me know what y'all talking about, and I'll get back to you. All right. Thank you for tuning in. I'll holler at y'all next week. Peace out.
Thanks a lot, everyone.